Hey, Jeff Brooks, Remax Orange Beach here for your monthly market update from the Gotti team. Let's dive right in. I believe I have a couple of new insights, new to me anyway. You guys let me know if they're new to you as well. First off, I'm continuing to believe that we're not going to see below 6 this year. Might even be into early next year before we see anything below 6. And that's only if we see jobs start to increase and payroll increase. Pricing, done a little research and a couple of other details besides my normal monthly stuff. And I think the residential market in Baldwin County is still a bargain. And with the growing population, I think that's why we're seeing continuous growth in that space. Resort pricing is off peak, but stable-ish. I've got a very new insight for me there that I want to cover. I believe we've just set a new level at pricing, and I'll tell you why when we get there. Inventory, residential, still well-balanced at about 5-ish months supply. It's got to go over 6 before it becomes a buyer's market. I don't see that happening. Condo and townhome inventory remains high, but I don't think that's a factor in pricing. Let's continue on. Here is the rate chart. You can see since 2024, been pretty steady. We have seen that improvement since about August of this year, but I, again, don't expect major changes. On my normal charts, the 1 to 3 year was just not telling me the story as to why we're seeing what we're seeing. So I went back and pulled the maximum market data on all of these. It goes all the way back to January of 2012. And you see this interesting dynamic where we have a nice steady growth across the years there until we get to 2020, which was the pandemic. We saw that melt up, if you will, and I'm going to talk about what I think is happening there. We saw that correction, and now it appears we're back on a steady market sales volume here as well. If we look at the volume in dollars, if I just draw that graph from 2012 all the way through, it looks fairly steady, and I could take out those last 5 years as an anomaly and say we're back on track. If we continue and look at the median price for condos and townhomes, we see similar, that spike back in 2013 and 14. That was how long it took for the market to recover from the 2007-8 housing crisis and the Gulf Horizon oil spill. So we saw that big peak. People gained confidence that they were going to get sales, and so they put stuff on the market. It sold pretty quickly, and then we were back on a steady course there. And we see that same melt up, if you will, on from 2020 to 2023. I believe that melt up is the result of the Fed and the Treasury pumping trillions of dollars into the market since about 2016, and then ramping that up during the pandemic. So here's my big belief. I believe that because of that cash into the market, there is a new baseline for pricing across the market that is not going to go away. The only way it goes away is if the federal government takes those dollars back out of the market. If they do that, it causes other problems. I think these prices are here to stay. That's my big news this month. So let's look at it. Single family, you can see that melt up and that flat path. There's that, new growth. We're not seeing, quote unquote, a correction period in the single family. That's because we are a growing county, and I'll show you in a minute, our price per square foot is a bargain compared to the rest of the country. There are some places that are better, but most of them are higher. If we continue on and look at Inventory, you see that same bump back in 15 and 16. We are starting to see the condo inventory come back down. However, the number of units sold is smaller than the number of units that came off of the market last month. So that means that people took their property back off of the market, chose to either keep it or wait until the market changes before they put it back on the market. On the right side, the single family home trend, it's creeping up towards 6, but it's still pretty healthy there. On the price per square foot, on the here we've got condos and townhomes. Again, I think that new baseline level for price per square foot is in that 459, 450th range, and I believe that's the result of the massive trillions of dollars pumped into the marketplace, setting a new base level for assets, be it real estate, automobiles, stocks, you name it. Though, these levels are basically here to stay, barring another catastrophe. And the government, there's this term called the Fed put. The Fed has proved over and over again for about 20 to 30 years, maybe longer, that they're not going to let the system fail. They will pump more cash into the system to keep that from happening. That just pushes those baselines further up. Here's the single family. You can see it's up at about $188 per square foot median. That means half of them are below that and half of them are above that. But if I look at that compared to the national average at about $225, we're a bargain. And it's a great county and people are moving here. So I believe that there's room for growth on that curve in the residential space. So what does that mean? If you're a seller in the residential space, price it to sell, but be patient. Things are sitting on the market a little bit longer. Rentals, rent if you can. Consider the buyer's return. If you truly want to sell it, price it so that the buyer can get that return on the property. And if you're a buyer in the residential space, good inventory out there, still new construction out there. I don't expect prices to come down at all in the residential space, so that adage of today is the best day to buy continues to be true. And in the rentals, there's still roughly 11 to 1,200 units out there for sale. Plenty of healthy associations. If you're looking for a condo, pick one, make an offer, see how the seller responds, and see if you can get there. That's all I've got for this month. Hopefully this was helpful. Hopefully I'm not the only one that has that theory or just realize what's happened in the marketplace. Let me know. Have a great month until I see you next time.